I'm Craig Galloway, and I am in New Zealand and the middle of the South Island in a city called Christchurch. I have been involved with Mastering Alchemy, starting off using the book and listening to Jim's park bench and free recordings that I found really helpful. So the free stuff that he does is a wonderful toe in the water, just get a feel for what it's all about. I think it's a marvelous contribution. Really felt a strong urge that I needed to get into the course, because something that Jim made, an observation that he made, it's all very well to read the book. It's like a nice introduction and it gives you a feel for what it's all about. But it's not until you actually get into the program that the sort of the full effect and the wider aspects of it come in. And that's been my experience. For me, this all started over 20 years ago, 1999. And it's just been a bit of a journey ever since, about sort of understanding what's going on, and with all the change going on in my life and in the world, and looking to make sense of that, and just really looking to have a tool set that will allow me to navigate a bit better. I had a few things that I've needed to tidy up, some things that weren't working so well. And so it's been a marvelous tool set. I have to say I am a work in progress. But what I've come to understand, and this has probably been the biggest shift for me, is probably originally I was thinking, this is going to take ages. And I just really want the certificate. I just thought there was an end point and you just simply get your certificate and away you go. What I've come to understand now is that this is a wonderful sort of expansion of capability. It's just putting steps in front of you that just keep opening things up. And so the wonderful thing is, sort of, where's the limit to making things better and be able to do things smarter? And that's what I really love about it. Pretty clever the way it's all put together, but it's very practical. For me, it's, how can I how can I run my business better? How can I have better relationships with my family and colleagues and others? And particularly with all the change going on in the world, how can I stay balanced? How can I not get so stressed? And how can I just navigate my way through the world? And that's the tool set that it gives. So I guess that's the nub of it for me. So in 1999, I crashed and burned in corporate. I was going through a lot of personal challenges. And basically, up until that age, so I was early 40s at that point, I had thought that it was all about action. It was all very left-brained. It was all just about the mind, and it just was no longer working. And I basically got kicked out of corporate, and I wanted to understand what was going on. So I sort of made this vow that I wanted to understand the principles so as that the detail could look after itself. And that set me on quite a journey, and it continues to this day, understanding sort of the key principles, the way things work. So rather than being a reactor to everything, right, I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to become more conscious. So if you take the word reactor and you take the letter C out of it and you move it to the front of the word, you get creator. And that's what I wanted to step into. I wanted to start creating a life, work, relationships, you name it, that was really meaningful and worthwhile, because a lot of stuff that I saw going on around me, particularly in corporate, wasn't particularly nice. uh, not a lot of integrity, a lot of power and control and dog eat dog, and not not great, not a space that I wanted to be in. But I didn't know how you could step out. I didn't know how you could do it differently. I thought you just had to accept it. But then I started to get information coming through um, by doing a lot of left field stuff and workshops and all sorts of things that started to allow me to understand a few things. And then I got in touch with some people that were providing information that let me understand what was going on for me. And it might be interesting for others out there. Now, maybe they're experiencing it. I had these weird sensations going on in my body. I had these sort of big hits of energy. I don't know how else you can describe it. And I found it pretty scary. It was sort of like, oh, I'm going nuts here. I was losing my mind, and I needed to. I needed to find something beyond my rational mind that could take that. So instead of practicing everything that I'd learned to date, I was open to new stuff coming in. And look, the rational mind is a wonderful thing, but it only knows what it knows. So how do you let new ideas in and new possibilities? And so I was playing with a whole lot of stuff, and out of that, Jim's name popped up. And so I then, Google is a wonderful thing. And he popped up in workshops, and I sort of cued into what he was talking about. And I thought, man, this makes sense. But as I said earlier, I was reluctant to get involved in Mastering Alchemy because I thought, we're talking a whole lot of time here, and I just want the certificate. I just want graduation. And I didn't get how it is a continuously expanding capability. So there is no sort of end point. There is just this wonderful development of, as I said, of capability, which becomes quite exciting. And I never thought I'd get to the day where I'd bump into something that wasn't so great for me and go, oh, good, here's a piece for me to tidy up. So is that I don't bump into this stuff again. I remember reading about that with others that had experienced that and thought, man, I can't imagine ever getting there. Well, it's sort of happening, I think. I guess to move on, Mastering Alchemy has brought together a whole lot of ideas that I'd been playing with, but it's put them into a really nice sequence. So is that it's sort of rounded it out, it's added to it, but it's also validated it. So it becomes, I understand it better, and therefore I can apply it, I can use it better. And that's brilliant. I just think it's really clever. I think it's great. That's what Mastering Alchemy teaches and allows us to do. Be in this stuff here that's not so great, and allow a switch over to this here by removing the stuckness, removing the stickiness of this stuff here, so as that it can be there, but it no longer has this attachment to us, right? We can allow it to be there, but focus on this over here, which is what we really want, and allow that stuff to come through. And it's a powerful tool set to be able to do that. I was hesitant around it, but then what I realized is that there is the level 1 toe in the water for not a lot of expense, that it just allows you to make a start, just to try some stuff out and see how you feel about it. But there's also Jim's free webinars that you can tap into, where he's talking about the bigger picture and what's going on in the world, and therefore helping us make sense of what's going on. And it just helps introduce some of the ideas. So between those two things, I think that if people are hesitant, are they curious? And if you're curious, then give it a go. Just make a start. I would describe Mastering Alchemy as passing across education, passing across information that brings through a new capability, a new skill set that takes advantage of what I would call the new operating software that we are now being given, and allowing you to make sense of it. There are some people that would like to have stuck with Windows 95, but there is now this whole new level of Windows, but all the buttons are different. They're in different places, and it's got all a whole new feature set, but it allows you to do a lot more faster and more easily. So Mastering Alchemy is a bit like that. It's teaching us how to tap into this new operating system that we've got and allow us to run our lives more easily, more effectively. And it just, it provides an easy stepwise series to take advantage of that. But it's teaching, this is really important, it's teaching us about how to do that for ourselves. This is not about handing ourselves over to anyone else. This is really about, there is something deep inside of us. There is a technology. There is a piece in us that if we can find and tap into, and that's what it's all about, is being able to tap into that. You can do this for yourself. It very much is about self-empowerment, but understanding what that's about and how to use that with integrity and for your greatest benefit, and the benefit and also the benefit of all those that you're involved with. So there's probably one last piece, and that is the way he holds a space on behalf of everyone, that this is not about him. He is passing information through. He is not a guru. He is about helping us understand that we're our own guru, and tapping in and building this for ourselves. We're in this wonderful process of stepping out of perhaps darkness and stepping more into light. And for me, that's all about sort of more information coming through. And he holds that space to allow us to open up to our own knowing and our own abilities. And that's what he does. I'll take my hat off to him. I guess I see it this way, is that we are like a jigsaw puzzle with a few pieces missing. And if we can find others or information from somewhere that helps us just fill in some of the missing pieces, then you create a lovely picture. We are all our own picture. We are unique. We're totally different from one another. So we have our own picture, and we've all got knowledge on board. And if we can just find a few more pieces to help round that picture out, then great.
Explore Mastering Alchemy and discover you. Find out more at masteringalchemy.com.